Hey there guys, welcome back for another unboxing video. So this is for the League of Dungeoneers expansion called the False Prophet. Now before I unbox this, I just want to say that I did do an unboxing recording of this. I've since taken all the standees out of the punch boards. I've basically played with the game, gone to edit the video today as I'm this is now why I'm recording this, and the audio was completely messed up. So this is an unboxing. I will be showing you the contents of what you get in the box, but they're not going to be how you receive them in the box, because obviously I've already used it. But hopefully you guys will still get an idea and enjoy the video and go out and buy this. So first of all, if you haven't watched the video where I show the unboxing of the core game, that is in two parts. The audio played up a little bit on that as well at the start. Unfortunately the audio for this was a lot worse. But yeah, you can go and check the link in the corner there. I'll have the link for the playlist for League of Dungeoneers, and in there will be obviously the unboxing for the main game, the core game. With that said, this is the expansion, released onto a backing, I cannot remember the name of it now, game something, but yeah, it was a backing campaign, a bit like Kickstarter and stuff like that. Game Found, that's the one. So Game Found, it's made by Michael Lungstead, who was generous enough to supply the core game and this to me, to do unboxing video and some demo videos and things like that for you, some playthroughs so you guys can see if you like the game and go out and purchase it. If you do want to purchase it, there is a link in the video description for the website where you can read a little bit about the game and that, and for the web store where you can now buy this. Like I said, it was previously on GameFound as a backing campaign last year, so 2024 I believe, and earlier this year backers started receiving their copies, so all the backers should have their copies by the time I'm making this video. The expansion is still available, and he is releasing other expansions. We do have the advanced bestiary coming very soon. He's just working on finalizing that to make the backing campaign for that, and I think there is a plastic standees campaign coming soon as well. So obviously if you get into this and you want more monsters, then there'll be some campaigns you want to back, and obviously you'll get miniatures, or not miniatures, sorry, plastic standees for all the monsters that come in the core game and this expansion, and I believe, but I may be wrong, any that are also in the advanced bestiary. So if there's extra monsters in there, they'll be on the plastic standees, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so you'll get the stuff in this. So let's have a look in here. Oh, if we can open it. So first of all, a quick note about something that is in here. In here you get a new terrain tile. So we have this this windmill on one side and a mine track leading into a mine on the other. This was actually made too big. It's supposed to be 12 inches by 12 inches, and I think the grids are slightly over an inch, so we end up with a little bit more. On the web store, when you order this, there is a product on there, an item that you can add to your basket for free, and it is the replacement copy. It is free, and you can see, if I get them down into the bottom corner, there is an extra runoff on size on the other one. So this is the correct one. It is free as long as you order it with something else that you pay for, so that shipping is then free as well. If you order it separately, so just this on its own, it is free, but you will have to pay shipping on it. So just make sure that when you order this game, you get this as well. that you order this. So yeah, that's the tile there. Inside we get a bunch of new tokens. These I haven't used yet, so I haven't punched them out. All the tokens that we get in the game come on one of these boards. I believe they are 1.5 mil thick. And yeah, so we've got extra tokens. So we've got tokens to be able to track ammunition. So we've got arrows or stones if you're using the slingshot or the sling. So we've got tokens for that. Obviously 1s, 5 and 10s. We've got rations, so we can now track rations. So we've got 1s, 5s and 10s of those. We've got these magic items. I believe the first lot are double-sided, the same as these magic icon things. So we then have these gemstone looking pieces or rock looking pieces. I believe these are to do with the new mechanic, mining, where you can actually mine stones within an area. On the back of this we can see we've got what looks like swarms of rats. I think that's rat swarms, and then some sort of bird. We've got these stones on the back of these ones, so these question marks, I'm assuming they're some sort of unknown search tile. We've got holes that we can fall down into, including larger ones. And then we've got this horse and cart, which does have a roofed version or a covered version on the other side. So yeah, some extra tokens there. We get a large tile. So in the core game you get the large one where it's the curved room at the top. It's like you've got the bed and the sofas and that. In this one we've got I think it is actually a double-sided one. So yeah, so we've got a cave here. This expansion is focused very much on caves and mines. We've got some sort of acid pool or waste water pool or something here. We've got a treasure chest. We've got some sort of sacrificial stone, skeletons. So yeah, all these can be searched. If you play the game, then you'll know the rules. The tile is a grid of 12 by 12, but it does have this expansion or this area on the other side, on the edges, sorry, which is a it's like a quarter square. That would be walls, so normally that would be black on a regular dungeon tile. Obviously when you put a tile up against this, you just ignore that border. It doesn't count as a tile. Two of them will not make up a grid, so yeah, you just ignore the border for that. And then on the back here we can see we've got a minecart room. So we've got these 3 minecarts, we've got this little platform, and obviously the track that runs along. We've got another track here, a couple of treasure chests, so definitely a room to try and find and get these treasures. So this is R62 and 63. So yeah, again, I love the artwork on these. Very well done art for this sort of top-down view. Just really nice to play on. Next we have some more tiles. We'll get into the books in just a minute. So again, all these tiles, they do come on a punch out board. So you punch them out and obviously you got the tiles. So this one is R61. The R stands for room, and it will be C if it's a corridor. Again, if you watch the first one, I do explain that a little bit more with how it's played. Again, a double-sided tile. I think a lot of these are double-sided, in the sense of they have different art on both sides, because it's a cave on one side and a mine on the other. So obviously one side is going to get the mine tracks. They are numbered differently, so 50 and 61. That's quite different in numbers. The numbers also, if you are wondering, do carry on from the core game. They don't use the same numbers, so you can use these tiles with the core game and create a dungeon that maybe goes from a mine, or from a dungeon, sorry, breaking the wall and it leads into a cave or an old mine or something. So there is that for it. We've got this really cool one with a little lava pool in the middle. So we've got a few of these rooms. We've got a small building with the rail track going past. We've got crystals, so these can be mined. You can mine crystals and then obviously use them for whatever. I think they're valuable, so you can sell them. I don't know if they're used for enchanting or crafting or anything. We've got, looks like a little forge or a smithy room here. So we've got the forge or the furnace there. We've got this little table. Again, really love the artwork. Obviously you can see it goes from a mine to this stone brick area or stone tile. Then we've got a room here, so we can see that we've got the open door, treasure chest. This is a cave tile, and then on this side we've got another mine tile, so we've got the train track running across, or the mine track. We've got a statue here that's somebody has been praying to. We've got some coins on the floor and another treasure chest in the corner. Get that close just so you can see the artwork. Very, very nicely done. We get a small 4x4 tile. So again, another treasure chest, a dead body. You can search these, and then a mine. So this one is actually a corner. So in the first, the core game, it would actually, this would be missing and it would be an L shape, but obviously because it's in a mine, we've got this extra bit of artwork and it just opens it up a little bit more, but it is still an angular piece, which is really cool. So it's a corridor, not a room. And then we have another corridor. We've got a bit of broken track on there, and this side we've got, looks like a block. Might have to sort of squeeze around it or climb over it. We've got a T section here. So again, I love how it's opened up. It's not an exact T, it is more like it would be in an open mine or dungeon, cave system, sorry. And then here we've got more of the typical two-piece T section. And then another straight, but this time, oh no, it's not, it is a sort of T section. So this one is a straight with this sort of extra bit here, and then on this side it is actually a T section. We have three entrances on here. Then we've got some slightly larger tiles. So these ones are 6x6. Again, we get the caves on one side and a mine on the other. There's a cave there and a mine there with another, oh, two corpses. So we've got an orc and a dwarf. Couple more mines, and then we got this one. Actually looks like it opens up into an old room, so it goes from a cave to some sort of dungeon room. There's a torture rack. It does have an extra passage off here. So the difference with rooms on this one is they do have a specific entrance on them. They're not randomized. If you, with the core game, with the dungeon tiles, you actually put a door wherever you like on an edge, as long as it's not against a piece of furniture. So as long as there's a square that doesn't have furniture in it, you can put a door. This one, obviously, being a cave or mine system, it doesn't have doors, so it is set routes. But obviously if you rotate it around, you can get it to go different ways. And then this one, we've just got this across with this sort of room here. Then we've got what looks like a lake of some kind. It does look a little bit deep because there's a tentacle here. Some sort of snake or worm thing here. A couple of dead bodies, or a dead body in there. And then we've got a bridge that passes over it for the mine track. We've got more corpses and a huge pile of bones. I'm assuming that will be searchable. And then another room here, so the track is just the part of the room, and then you've got the doors on either side. And then a nice large crystal room here, mushrooms as well, and you can pick and harvest those. And then the mine on this side with a large rock in the middle. Then we actually get some smaller MDE2, so these are mine dead end and then cave dead end. So we actually get dead ends now. Because they're open, obviously you can't just have it open to nothing, so you would lay a dead end down on there, whereas normally it would just be a door. If there were no cards to put down next to that door, then that door would just count as a dead end. It's a blocked door. So then we've got some more corridors. So first of all, we've got the cave entry and the mine entry. So this is your start tile. The other one I think was a 2x4. It was shorter. This one he's made longer. We've got a transition, so we actually go from a mine to a cave. That is the same on both sides. It would have been nice to have had a mine or a cave to a dungeon, and then this one, or alongside this one. And we've got C45, so it's another corridor. So these are all corridors. This is a T-junction one, so again, that's pretty cool. And then we've got a minecart on that one. Another T section. Now, is that the same as the other one? Nope, they are different. And even the artwork on here, slightly different. So we've got like the gold nugget there. The lamps are on these posts, and on here they're on this one. So even when they are almost duplicated, you can see that the base art has been used the same. We've got the exact same rock formation here, but it's the fact that, you know, they went a bit extra and just changed a couple of things around. You know, they moved the lamp off of here onto this side, and they moved the mushrooms, put a gold nugget down there. It just makes it a little bit different enough that it doesn't, you know, you're not going to notice it when you're playing. Cool bridge over the lava there, and then we got a dead corpse on the another dwarf. Obviously dwarfs and mines go together like rats and cheese, or mice and cheese. And then another lava river with a bridge going because the track's busted. So that's the tiles that you get. Like I say, these are in a couple of punch out boards. If I can find the smaller ones, we'll put all these back first. And the great thing is they are also designed to fit back into the packaging. So they do fit in very nice. Get rid of these extra sleeves. I'm not sure if it's a mistake or if they just included them, but I got extra sleeves for the cards there. This token set came with the core game, but I believe it is for use with this game, but I haven't looked into the rules properly of this one, so I'm not 100% sure how they come into effect. We get baggies again for the 3 groups of monsters that we get, or encounters. We get another pack of tracking cubes. So first of all, for the King's Army, I'll just grab a few out here. So we get things like guardsman, a guardsman with a crossbow, so a ranged guardsman. There's another one. I do believe there are 3 different types of guardsmen in here, possibly. I think there's one. There's the other one. Sergeant. There you go. So we've got the guardsman and the sergeant. Get these back in here, and then I can show you the sergeant. So there's a sergeant with his baton, and it looks like he has got a sword there as well. Very cool artwork. So that's the King's Army. Then we get some shroom folk. So we've got a Macrobite Titan. We've got a Fungoid Ranger, Fungoid Warrior, Fungoid Warrior, Fungoid Ranger, Fungoid Ranger, Fungoid Ranger, Fungoid Warrior, a Shroom Queen, and a little Shroomling. And there's another shroomling. And again, all of these are on punch-out boards. Now, I will say, before we look at this one, there is another race that comes for this. I don't have the standees for them. I've put them, because they are playable heroes, I have put all the standees into my heroes bag, which is in the core box, which at the moment is put away. And I've just remembered that the duck folk are there. But you do get a whole bunch of new hero tokens. It's not just the duck folk that I haven't got here. Because in this, we will look in a minute, there are 2 new classes. And I think 2 new races. Yes, 2 new races. So there are half ogres and duck folk. And we get standees for not only the 2 races with the new classes, but we also get standees for all the existing, the 4 existing races, so human, dwarf, elf and halfling, with the new classes, and we get duck folk for the old classes and half ogres for the old classes. So 2 new races, get standees for the 2 new classes and all the old classes, and the old races get standees for the new classes. I think that's right. So yeah, so there are a bunch more miniatures, not miniatures, I keep saying miniatures. There are a bunch of standees that are missing. We'll just have a look at a few of these ones. Like I said, if it's much easier when it was on the board, I may put a little sequence here of showing the boards, just so you guys can see what we get on them. So we got some Ratkin soldiers, a rabid Ratkin, a Ratkin assassin. Yep. Some more soldiers there. We get gigantic rats. I think we get them in the core game as well, but we do have some extras with this. So obviously we're going to be getting encounters where we could end up with more gigantic rats. This one's cool. A nice big Ratkin ogre. We've got a Ratkin summoner. So these are a race, but they are not a heroic race. They are enemies only, much like the Dark Elves in the core set. So then we've got Ratkin Elite. So there's them, if we can get it. There we go, focused. There's the assassin, another soldier, another elite. See if we've got anything more unique. There we go. So we've got rat demons. That one's definitely infected. We've got a couple of those, which is actually quite scary, because if there's 2 standees, it means that it's possible an encounter we could have 2 of them in one go. And the same with the ogres, there's 3 of them. And then I think the rest of this, we've got a Ratkin pack leader, and then most of it is just duplicates of the other ones. We've got some Ratkin skirmishers, so ranged ones. So yeah, whole bunch more enemies to deal with as a new race. The duck folk are only a heroic race. They are not an enemy. We don't get to fight them. Whereas these count as monsters. Okay, so I managed to find some of the old footage from the previous unboxing here. I just thought we'd go through very quickly, and I could just show you what they look like when they come on the boards, the pop-out boards, and some of the monsters that may have been put into the bags that were in the core box. So obviously there's things like beasts. One thing I did like about this that I couldn't show was the horses. We get some standees for the horses now that they can be used in combat, and we can literally put our heroes on the horses for use in combat. So yeah, you can see we've got a couple of new monsters on there with the oozes, the the 4-armed ogre, and that the Scorpion Queen was on there. We've got some more fire elementals. There's the giant scorpion, or gigantic scorpion. I think it's a giant scorpion on the right there. There are some of the duck folk that I was pointing to And I think just then I was pointing to some of the new classes with the older races. We get all of them on these boards too. So yeah, hopefully that covers for the mix-up. Okay, so next we'll take a look. We actually get event cards and some more quick reference cards. So the quick reference cards are related specifically to some of the stuff from in this. Oh, that's an event. So we've got the Underground Lake, the Guardian, which is a beast. I'm not sure why he gets a big card, but I think it is because it's to do with the Underground Lake only. We've got mushrooms, so when you find mushrooms, you will roll a d20, so a successful foraging or alchemy roll is needed to harvest mushrooms. If successful, roll 1d20 below, and then obviously that will determine the type of mushrooms that you get. And then we did that guy. So then we got the same for crystals. So on every tile with crystals, roll 1d20 to determine their nature. So we got healing crystals, mana crystals, light crystals, mending crystals, chaos crystals, and poisonous crystals. And again, with the tokens that we get, you can put them on the crystal to show what they represent. I haven't opened this. Let's open it. Go through it quickly. So these are I use them as quick reference cards for mostly for the enemies, but also for my heroes if they have certain things. So we've got all these little potions now. I don't think we got these with the other the core game, but we now have these for the potions. So if you've got a bunch of, say, potion of restoration, you can just put this on your character card or keep it with you, and you can quick reference it rather than having to look it up. And then we've got some cantrips. Druid. There are 3 new classes. 2 new classes? We'll have a look. But there is a druid as well, and the druid gives access to some of their own spells. So that's those. And then we also get event cards. So previously with the core game, if you ended up with an event, you would roll and check on a table. With this expansion, you actually get cards, not just for the ones covering the core game, which I think there were 30 odd, 40 odd, but we also get ones for the events found in this. So there are new events specific to this. But we got things such as potions. So in a corner of the room, a couple of dusty cobweb covered bottles can be seen. Roll 1d3 plus 1 to determine the number of potions. So you'll get at least 2 potions out of it. The bottles can be picked up by any character spending 2 AP, and they must be identified as usual. The Alchemist. An elven woman steps out of the darkness. She is dressed in leather armour and holds an elegant short sword. Slung around her shoulder is a typical alchemist belt with small bottles in easily accessible pockets. Apart from some dried blood on her cheek, where the heroes suspect is not hers, she looks alert and in good spirits. It takes but a few seconds for the heroes to stand down as they sense that she comes with no ill intentions, she tells them. So randomise 1d6 potions, which the party may purchase for 50 coin each. So she's selling potions. We've got catacombs, we got the cave in, a ladder. So I think this is a new one. I don't think that was in the original. There's an old ladder leaning against the wall. Following the ladder with their eyes, the heroes notice a small hatch in the ceiling. The ladder is in decrepit state and can't handle much weight. The smallest party member may be light enough without their armour and gear. Oh. The party attempts to open the hatch, but the one climbing is considered to be unarmed and without any armour. The party may roll 1d6. On a 1, stashed in the small compartment overhead, there is a nice prize. Draw a wonderful treasure. Wow. A 2 to 4, there is nothing but dust in a smaller compartment on the other side of the hatch, so that's fine. Number 5, So if you roll a 5, just as the hero reaches up to push the hatch open, the top rung snaps and the hero falls headlong to the stone floor. The hero suffers 1d8 wounds. Ouch. And for 6, as the hatch is opened, a huge spider jumps through the opening. The hero falls to the floor, taking 1d8 wounds, and is stunned. Place a giant spider randomly in the room and commence fighting. The hero that climbed the ladder will not have any armor on during the battle. Oh, so yeah, the 6 on that is not going to be good. Then we've got Stray Adventurer, Caged Skeleton, a Bruised Adventurer, the Bell, Goblin Raiding Party. So yeah, all of the events plus more. And then we'll go through and have a look at the cards here. So I think I've fairly organised these. So first of all, we've got some mundane treasures, some fine treasures, and wonderful treasure. So quite a lot of wonderful treasure. Some new mundane treasures. So we've got throwing daggers, throwing axes, throwing javelins. So there's a lot of new throwing weapons. Studded leather armor and scale mail armor. So we also get some new armors in this. For fine treasure, we've got a mirror, an ore nugget, silver clasp, lucky coin, fate stone. Find a wonderful treasure, so there's now another one of those because we get some in the core game. Mithril nugget, studded leather armor, and scale mail armor. So the durability, if we just look at these, is a little bit different. So this one has 1d4 plus 1 damage to it already, and this one is only a d2 plus 1. So the fine treasure is a little bit better. And then for the wonderful treasure, we have a ranger's amulet, a legendary item. We've got 5 of those in here. Miner's amulet, magic scale mail, so we actually get some magic armor in this, magic studded leather, book of recipes, a prosthetic eye, a prosthetic hand, and a prosthetic leg, because some new rules in this introduce wounds, permanent wounds. So before, you would lose a random stat, would go down by 1 point. Now we get permanent wounds instead, which is going to make things very interesting. So you can see that I've sleeved all the cards, and I will mention very quickly, I don't know if this was just a mistake with my pack or if it's an ongoing thing, but I did not receive enough sleeves for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. So I'm 9 sleeves short, which is, you know, kind of disappointing, but I'm not too bothered. What I've done, because squires are a new thing, that there's another new class. There's lots of new classes in this, and I keep forgetting them, but we will go through them in the books in a sec. But there is a new class called the Knight, or a new profession. Sorry, they're called professions in this game. And that's the Knight, and the Knight has a squire. Because he's only going to have 1 squire, I wasn't too worried about having the cards sleeved, so I decided to sleeve everything else and leave these ones short. Looking at them, so that one's there, so that's a trap. We've got all these new squire cards. We will have a look again how squires work in the book that we've got. But we've got Archibald, Sigil, Oints, Baldric, Voldemar. Oh, 2 Voldemars. Okay. So we've got 2 Voldemars. One is better than the other, and I'm wondering, is that because they get better, or is there some sort of mistake with the name? I didn't notice that before. They've got different equipment, but yeah, 2 different Voldemars. We've got Golduck, Alestra, Groth, and Merla. We've got exploration cards, if I can dig them out of there. So mining hall, so that one will be there. Try not to screw this up. So we've got monsters, and Exploration. So let's have a look from the back. So we've got Quest Monster, a couple of new Quest Monsters. We've got the Scorpion Queen and a Dyragos. Not sure what that is, but we'll find out in the book. We've got a magic monster here, the Tree Spirit, which is a beast type. We've got King's Army. The colouring on that one's a bit different, isn't it? Ooh, never noticed that, but okay. It's not too bad because these are just reference cards. They're not something you would randomly draw, so again, I'm not too bothered. But yeah, we have the Captain, a Battle Wizard, a Sergeant, and a Guardsman. We've got some new undead. So for the undead, we've got a Death Knight, a Ghoul Prince, a Flesh Golem, and a Lich, so a magic user. And then we have 3 new beasts. Giant Slime, a Cyclops, wow, 1000 XP, he's going to be tough to beat. 4 damage, so he's not even rolling, or is that plus 4 damage? No, he just does 4 damage. He's natural weapon. Wow. And a Cave Spider, so a new type of spider. Then we've got the Ratkin. So 12 of those. So we've got the Ratkin Soldier, the Pack Leader, a Ratkin Ogre, Ratkin Assassin, a Ratkin Warlock, Ratkin Summoner, a Rabid Ratkin, a Ratkin Elite, a Ratkin Skirmisher, a Rat Demon, which was the big thing that we saw, a Rat Swarm. What was it we got before? We didn't get Rat Swarms, it was just giant rats and that, so Rat Swarm, and Gigantic Rat. And then we've got some Shroom Folk. So we've got 5 cards for those. So we've got a Shroomling, the Fungoid Warrior, Fungoid Ranger, the Macrobite Titan, and the Shroom Queen. And yep, she gives the most XP. Is she a magic user? She is. She's a magic user. So those are the new enemies that come in the expansion. Then we've got cards now for, if we go through them, I think that was the last, no, that's a prayer, that's a prayer, that's a prayer. There we go. So we've now got cards for legendary items, so instead of going through a table, we can actually randomly draw cards, which is brilliant. So we've got the Summoner's Staff, the Headman's Axe, the Golden Kopesh, I believe that acts like a, doesn't say, but I think it acts like a great sword or a broadsword, one or the other. Ring of Generation, a Crown of Resolve, a necklace of flight, so we can go a bit of flying. Makes the wearer immune to pit traps. You cannot walk across lava though. Necklace allows you to walk across water, chasms and pits, just not lava. So it's not quite flight, it's more necklace of hover. A warding crystal, socks of perpetual comfort. Give +1 energy that is added to the hero's max energy. That's cool. Ring of Regeneration, glowstones. So yeah, all of the legendary items, including any new ones from this quest. Oh, sorry, from this expansion. Then we have, I think it's 2 more new 3 more new prayer, 4 more new prayer levels. So we now go from levels 5 to 8. The other one was obviously 1 to 4. I was thinking of the spells, which is 1 to 6. Which is why I was surprised there were too many of these, but there's not. So we've got Matthias Blessing, Speed of Ramos, Godly Power, Ridnir's Boon. So yeah, a whole bunch of new prayer cards. We can now level up the War Priest a little bit higher. So here we've got invocations. These are for the Druid. We've got Thorns, Entangle, Resist Poison, Resist Disease, Cure Hunger, Fireflies, Light Heal, 1d8 worth of HP. No, that is the same as the other, the Cleric and the Wizard's one. So we could make a Druid healer. We've got Summon Swarm, so he can actually summon a rat, or a bat, a bee, or a snail swarm. I don't know what the snail... Oh, actually, I think I do know what the snails do. They crawl along the floor, they can't attack, but if the enemy runs over where they've slimed, they slip over. And they go prone, so yeah, you could have some fun with that. So that's the snail swarm spell. The summon swarm. It doesn't... We don't get the swarms for the other swarms, just the snail one. I'm wondering if we've already got them in some form. And then you can probably see down there, beast form. So we've got new beast forms. These again are the Druid. The Druid can change into beasts. And then they'll use these stat cards when they run out of health on here. So let's say this one gets 7 HP. The Druid change when he has 10 HP left. When he loses all this XP, his HP, he'll return to his normal form and minus this on his HP. So he also loses it from his natural form. So if he has 10, he'll be left with 3. If he was on, say, 3 and he changes to this, he gets the 7. But when he changes back, he dies. He'll be bleeding out. So do make sure that if you change into your beast form for that extra bit of HP, that you don't go down, because then you will be out. But we've got a falcon, a rat, a giant snake, has some really, good HP. A giant wolf, a raptor, a giant spider. Wow, look at that, 25 HP. 20 for a cave bear. A giant scorpion's got 30. And 25 for a werewolf, so they can even become a werewolf. Then we've got the road events. So we've got more road events here. We'll just go for a few. We've got the Alchemist, the Wandering Monk, the Herald, a backpack, a Wounded Runner, a Questing Knight, and Shroom Folk. So you can actually encounter some Shroom Folk out on the roads. And then I think we've got, yep, these are all wilderness. So we've got a whole bunch of new wilderness travel events. The Old Squire, a Vantage Point, Fog Marsh, the Willow, Treasure, Ambush, Marvellous Weather, Trapped Deer. We've got Standing Stones, Magic Circle. So yeah, a whole bunch of new event cards there. So that's everything in terms of cards and tiles. Now let's have a look at the books. So we get a book of legendary items. What this does is, obviously, because legendary items are being added into the game with this expansion, this is basically a kind of fluff book. So if we take a look at the Horn of Affilheim, there's a little description and then the rules for it. And if we look at the Horn of Affilheim in here, if we can find it, the Horn of Affilheim, so you can see we've got a little bit more on the lore, I think. This ancient horn was forged by the old gods and given to man to help stave off the hordes of orcs and goblins that harass the tribes of men. And on this one, this ancient horde was forged by the old gods and given the tribes of men. Then we've got sound the horn of Affilheim and let the powers of the ancient gods drive back the foul horde. Sounding the horn requires to be in a ready state and takes a full turn. It will temporarily, so yeah, so then it gives a little bit more, and obviously, it's just a nice book to have. Then we've got a couple of quick reference cards. So these ones are duplicates. I'm not sure why we've got duplicates, but I have. So a couple of duplicates here. I think they're all the same, but the reason we've got these is the ones in the core game are a little bit outdated if you have this, because we've got studded leather armor, and I think, and yes, the scale mail. So obviously that is now included on this, and the weapons includes all of the throwing things as well. So the axe, the dagger, and the javelin. I think we still had the crossbow pistol before. We obviously got the crossbow. Where is it? The scimitar is now on here, and I think that's it. But possibly the mace is new. I'm not entirely sure on that one. So yeah, some new armor and weapons as well. We've got a whole new pad of character sheets. This is for the new classes. So we've got the knight, the druid, and the whatever that guy is. I am not sure. We'll have a look in the book. So yeah, so there's 3 new classes and character sheets for them. There's a new rule book. This obviously adding all the rules for this particular expansion. So we've got new components. We've got the legendary items, the beast form cards, the items booklet. Obviously we can check all this just to make sure we've got all of the stuff there. Some rules on how to use this expansion. So we've got new general rules. For character section has new species and professions. Dwarfs has actually had an update where they get more background and their clans. I really hope that we get something in a future expansion for elves. I would like to see dark elves be playable, and also wood elves and high elves would be a nice thing to see as well, and to get slight variations on their stats. Specializations. So this is the largest part of this chapter. It introduces a way for characters to choose a specialization when they reach level 5. So those of you who play Dungeons and Dragons will know that when you reach level 5 or thereabouts, depending on the class, you'll get a tree to choose. Is the easiest way. I can't remember the name of it right now, but you will choose like one or the other, one of between 2 and 4 usually. Professions or specializations are the similar kind of thing in this. Lasting wounds. So this introduces long-lasting or permanent wounds to your character. You can lose limbs. If you lose 2 of a limb, so if you lose both of your arms, your character dies. Same with legs, and obviously if you lose a head, you're dead anyway. But yeah, if you lose an arm, then you can, obviously you can't use that arm. You will only be able to use one-handed weapons, and you can find a prosthetic to replace it with. If you lose the other arm, then you will die. I believe that is how it works, unless you've got a prosthetic. I'm not entirely sure, but again, that's what the rules are for. Then we've got the dungeon section, which covers caverns and mines, the catacombs, and new encounters. So that is the new enemies introduced in this expansion. And quest book 3, which we'll have a look through in a bit. So new general rules. We've got new treasure cards, obviously the wonderful treasures and things that we looked at. Then we've got the Ratkin, introduced in this expansion as a new enemy faction. These enemies are backwards compatible and may be used in any other quest whenever there is a random enemy in the dungeon. You can use the following table to decide which enemy awaits the parties. So before you would roll a d6, and I think the 6 would be a roll again. Now we get Ratkin on there. So yeah, the Rogue Wizard. So that's a little bit on a guy that you can sell power stones to, or he can create power stone items for you. Horses and mules in combat. So in previously, nothing would happen to your animals if you got in combat. Now they are on the board and they are targets. So you can lose your animals, but if you have the mounted combat talent, you can use a horse in combat. And then we've now got wagons as well. So we've got things like wagons can be placed on the table during skirmishes. So species and professions. So these are the two new species. We've got half ogre and duck folk. I really like the idea of duck folk. Yep, so that's the two new species, and then it just goes straight into professions. They're not separated. So we've got druid, knight, and is that it? Oh, so what was that other thing for then? Maybe just a different class of some kind on the character sheet. That's thrown me off a little bit. But we've got druids and knights are the two new classes. So 2 races and 2 classes, and then obviously we've got the leveling up things for them. Then we've got the more detailed stuff for druids. So they are shapeshifters. This obviously explains how when you change it, the XP that I explained. We've got druid invocations, a sacred grove. So that's the closest to a guild that druids get. So when they visit Silver City, I think it would be placed in Silver City, but they don't visit a guild, they visit a sacred grove, and then they can learn new beast forms at level 3, 5, 7 and 9. So you get 1 at level 1 and then 3, 5, 7 and 9, because we got to level 10 in this. We've got botany, so they can make things out of, I think they are new, so yep, so we've got some new plants. House of Lords, so this is for the knights. The House of Lords is a royal order of knights of the realm and serves as their guild. Only those knighted may enter, and only after they pass an initiation quest. So I think it's in the back of the quest book. Yes, the back of the quest book contains a number of initiation quests that you can do with the knight. You play with him on his own, and he can become knighted. Then we've got special equipment that I believe you can only buy from the House of Lords. Maybe a little bit cheaper, because we've got a healing potion here and it's 100 coin, but it doesn't say that it's a weak or a normal standard, so it must be a high one. Then we've got a gorget necklace. So the equipment listed below is available for all knights, but they have access, so that may be anyway, not sure. Buying magic items. So Grand Lords and Elder Knights can buy magic items, close combat weapon, armor, shield, a ring and a necklace. Then we've got a little bit on dwarves and their clans, talents and perks. So new talents and perks that are limited. Oh, so if they're combat or common, then they can be used. Otherwise, if they are nope, some of them are specific to the things. So we've got knights only on chivalrous, challenge a knight, but it doesn't say knight only, but I'm assuming that would be knight only. So we can now have leather workers, so they can craft armor. Magic resistance, that could be anybody. Miner, so we can obviously mine for valuables. Mithril smith, so before it was just dwarves. This talent must be learned in a dwarven settlement by leveling up and paying 400C. From this point forward, the hero may forge mithril. I know that previously only dwarves could, but I think this says that means that anybody can. We've got mounted combat, natural killer, natural swimmers are duck folk only. Prospector, shapeshifter is druids only. A smith can create weapons and armor. And then we've got stupid. During battles, the half ogre must roll, so that's a half ogre one. Tough mind, unconventional, and that is it. Then we can craft, so we've got a bunch of stuff on crafting now. We've got class specializations, so this is the specializations including for the old classes. So the alchemist can become an artificer or a witch. A barbarian can become a slayer or a zealot. A druid can become a monk or a hexmaster. A knight can become a templar or a champion. A ranger can be a master hunter or a tracker. The rogue can be a sellsword or a tomb robber. The thief is an assassin or an acrobat. Okay. The warrior can become a captain or a weapon master. The warrior priest can be a witch hunter or a cleric. So by the looks of it, the cleric gets the new prayers. 5, 6, 7, and that's it. So yeah, the cleric can learn new prayers that a warrior priest or a witch hunter cannot. The wizard can be a battle wizard or an archmage. And then we have a little bit on the lasting wounds here. Diseases. Then we've got equipment. So these are the new equipment. Obviously it's already put onto the quick reference sheet. And then into the dungeon. So this chapter covers the new dungeon settings, mining, the catacombs, and new enemies. So obviously we've got a little bit about the exploration cards, the angered lady of the mine, so those ghosts in the mine or a ghost in the mines, crystals, the catacombs, new encounters, the ratkin and the shroom folk. Obviously we've gone through them. We've got a new table here, but I think we get a thing for that as well. And then that's the weapons sheet again, so the quick reference on the back there. And then finally we have quest book 3. We'll just have a quick look through this. So we've got generating a quest, Silver City, the outpost or a village. Then we've got a campaign, the false prophet, obviously all of this. That has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're not really named as quests. 7, 8. I think 8 quests in there, 8 or 9. Then we've got a bunch of single quests. So if you want to go on single quests or have random quests, then we've got how to make them or a bunch of them in here. The abomination can be done in villages only. A ghoul hive. We've got Medusa's lair. The Miller villages. Troll slayer. Fallen knight. Oh no, have we gone on to something else here? No, we haven't. Scepter of the Serpent. So yeah, we've got a bunch of solo quests, and then I think it's at the back of this one, or was that the night quests? Not sure. Oh, night initiation quests are here. So we've got the Perilous Rescue, Slay the Beast, or the Fallen Conrad. So 3 night quests there, and then we've got the Ratkin encounter table in the back there. So yeah, that is the expansion of the False Prophet. Apologies to Michael for not making this look better with a proper unboxing, and you guys, like I said, I didn't realise until just before making this video that the audio had gone so bad on that. It was missing words, you know, almost 6 seconds long pieces of the audio were missing. I need a new mic. Hopefully this one's recording better, because I don't want to have to do this again. But that is all for now, guys. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you are interested in buying this, check the video description, and there are links there for the web store. A huge thank you to Michael once again for sending me all of this. I've played it a little bit now, and yeah, it's fun. I think I enjoy it probably a little bit more than D&D, because it is more combat focused and it's playable solo. That is the main thing that I love about this. I don't have friends interested in TTRPGs, or really board games in general. They're just not nerdy types. So trying to find groups to play with, I do suffer with bad anxiety, so I don't go out. I don't go to gaming clubs and things like that. So a solo board game to play on your own is brilliant, and I really do enjoy playing this, and I hope you guys do too. So yeah, hit that like button. If you recently subscribed, then a huge thank you to you for subscribing. If you've not yet subscribed, why not? The button's right there. Click it, ding the bell for notifications. We do unboxings, painting videos, anything to do with miniatures basically. If it has miniatures in it and I'm interested enough, I will try and get it and paint them. I will show you guys tutorials on painting miniatures, from various tabletop games, Warhammer 40,000, Infinity, things like Curse City, board games. We've got some, what do we call it now? Dark Souls. We've got some Dark Souls videos that I might have coming up. But yeah, anything and everything to do with miniatures is what this channel is about. And obviously board games with miniatures, because we like miniatures here. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. But until next time, guys, thank you ever so much for joining me. And as always, take it easy. Keep painting those minis.